How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 147 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. As always, we are live here in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, and let's talk once again about the beautiful new Drew Estate Acid 20 Connecticut Toro. A smooth, mellow, sweet, and aromatic Acid 20 Connecticut Toro, which features a stately Connecticut shade wrapper, flavorful Indonesian binder, and bold Nicaraguan filler tobaccos, resulting in an extraordinary and exceptional smoking experience. Acid 20 Connecticut is a 6x54 Toro, all chromed out in 20-count boxes with an MSRP of $10.75 per cigar. They are now available to all premium tobacco retailers. For more info, please visit drewestate.com. All right, so Garrett, talk to us a little bit about where you are broadcasting from this evening.
So I took a let me rephrase. My wife and I just celebrated 19 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we took a trip to New Orleans to not only commemorate that, but also to meet our UK buddy, John Strange, and his wife. So it has been unbelievable.
Nice.
The food, the people, amazing city.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's I have not been to New Orleans since I've only been one time, and it was New Year's. So the end of the last couple of days of 93 and the first couple of days of 94. And that was back in my younger days when I partied extremely hard most of the time. I don't remember much of the trip. I remember some parts that were really, really fun, and other parts I don't really remember so strongly. But I hope to make it back to that city someday, because I do remember loving a lot of it.
It's fantastic. And I got to tell you, so it's actually Mardi Gras going on right now.
That's right.
We thought that we were going to miss, that it was going to be the week before.
So it's a little busy?
Well, so they do parades Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
So you get a couple-day break. Today, you could get to the French Quarter without going through a maze of everything. But yesterday, Jill and I went and walked down to the French Quarter and saw some parades. We got a ton of beads. And I didn't have to show my boobies once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But you still got beads because of your hat.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't know if you have been paying close attention. You probably haven't been paying close attention to local sports while you've been traveling, and I don't blame you, really. The Wild won last night.
Yeah, I did see that.
I mean, we beat a very mediocre team, like 7-3, I think.
Yep.
But things are looking up. I mean, they are definitely, like we keep saying, I think they're on the right track, getting towards the second. Well, the final third we'll say the final third of the season, because it's the season only goes through mid-April ish, somewhere in there, regular season, that is. Hopefully we get a playoff spot. I think we will. I think we're on track to get a playoff
absolutely
spot.
Yeah, as long as well. And just, I mean, we were talking about our goalie either last week or the week before.
Yeah. And
then the other night he gave up a balls ton. So,
well, and last night, yeah, it's a whole debate between Talbot versus Kakkonen as a goalie, and even last night against a pretty mediocre team, Kakkonen still gave up 3 goals, but their guy gave up 7.
Right.
And I think they swapped goalies somewhere in there. I believe they pulled the goalie and put in the other guy. I don't really know for certain. And this is kind of a sad thing, is normally we'd also be at least mentioning the fact that pitchers and catchers are reporting for spring training, and they're not. because, yeah, the lockout is real, and nobody's doing anything baseball wise, and that's really
Yay, MLB.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? Hopefully they can work out their differences soon and get back to playing baseball. But I have a feeling I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just looking at the way everything is going. I don't think we're going to see a season this year, like zero season.
Well, oh really? Not even like what we had in what was it?
I don't think we're even gonna. Yeah, I don't think we're even gonna see a reduced season. I think there will be zero baseball in 2022.
Way to bring me down.
Sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I want so desperately to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I want to go get back to the ballpark and see some ball games, but it'll have to be, I think, St. Paul Saints games for us.
Not terrible trade-off.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Worse.
I'll take that any day of the week. So let's get to our special guest of the evening. And guys, on How About That Cigar Live, you know that special guests are always brought to us by our friends at Corona Cigar Company. Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome to episode 147 of How About That Cigar Live, Gerard from Jake Wyatt Cigar Company. Brother, welcome to the show.
Hola, hola. Anybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Good. We were having some difficulties. I solved it. Anyways.
It's all solved. It's
We
all
worked
good.
it out.
How you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, man. I got a cigar, and I'm doing pretty good right now, hanging out.
Nice. So give us is that your office that you're broadcasting from right now?
Yeah, this is the lounge.
Okay.
So we are sitting in our little private lounge revealed here at our office, so I can come and have a smoke.
Very nice. And what did you fire up to be on the show tonight?
Herbert Spencer from Jake Wyatt. This is a 6x54 Toro, and this is our Maduro by our gourmet collection, because we have two collections. So this is our first collection, and this is the Maduro.
Very nice.
And before I cut my cigar, I wanted to show it. So we've got the Appendix 2. And for anyone who hasn't had a Jake Wyatt cigar, I want to say a couple things. Doing this kind of design work on a cigar, for some may look gimmicky, but let me tell you, this is anything but a gimmick. This is like when a chef puts a beautiful swipe of sauce on a plate. This is elevating the artistry of the cigar, and it is a work of art. What they're doing here. So I just want to emphasize that. If you see
it absolutely is, and you're 1,000% right, and we are totally going to get to that. But first, I need to light a cigar, and I'm going to light a cigar right now. I'm going to light the Herbert Spencer Robusto, and I'm going to do it with our handy dandy toast cam.
When lighting your cigar, it's important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra-premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sombra Mesa to Umbagad, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com to learn more.
There we go. And I did better with the toast can than last week. Last week, if you guys remember, I totally torched the shit out of the side of a cigar last week. This week, nice and smooth this week. So before we get into, and Garrett's 100% right about the artistry, and there's such a cool, unique look to many of the cigars in the Jake Wyatt lineup. But before we kind of get into that, especially if it's somebody that we haven't had on the show before, we love finding out people's stories and how people got into this whole world of premium cigars. So Gerard, just give us kind of your origin story as far as your first time you had a cigar, when you got involved in the business, and how you became part of the cigar hobby.
We started as retailers, so I was, in the early 90s, mid 90s, my dad got in the cigar business during the boom, and he always enjoyed cigars. And I was 19 years old, and he had an Area del Mundo Dominican one, and he cut it in half, and then he said, here's a cigar, and I didn't really care for it. And he was like, all right, take a bite of this watermelon, because it was summertime and we're outside in the backyard, and took a bite of the watermelon and take a puff. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a lot more palatable. So that's how it kind of started. We began as retailers. And I started helping my dad with the business, and at some point we had a few shops in the California area, and a tobacco tax truly increased the cost of doing business in California, which was really turning me off. So I kind of said, I'm done with the cigar business. Kind of broke my dad's heart a little bit, but he moved to Florida, and he continued his gig, but he left the store here in California as a backup plan, which I was managing, because meanwhile I was pursuing my fire career at the time. And at some point, while I was pretty deep into my career, my father passed away, and I wasn't really sure what the heck to do with his business, because I wasn't really focused in the cigar business. So I tried to sell it, but I was just getting too low bids. And I reached out to my right-hand man, which is Neil, which is my partner now. And we said, let's embark online, which eventually landed us doing some exclusive stuff with smaller boutique companies, which landed us in the Dominican Republic. And that's where we fell in love, or I fell in love again with the industry, because of what was going on in the Dominican Republic. And people were like, you should come up with your own stick. And I visited a lot of manufacturers, and everybody can make you a stick there. It's just, but what I wanted, I just couldn't find anybody doing what I wanted, because, when you make a blend, you have to revise it so many times. I just didn't want to, waste people's time with my, I wouldn't really call it neurotic, but I can be neurotic sometimes, and I want to go back and forth. And so we had to get our own factory going. And that's where I started learning how to create blends, and learning how to sort out tobacco, and learning to differentiate, new tobacco from old tobacco. And that's how it basically started in a nutshell. And so we have our own factory down in the Dominican.
Nice. And talk to us a little bit about the company name, Jake Wyatt, because you never know from one company to the next, sometimes people name the brand after themselves. Sometimes they just pick a famous landmark that's nearby the factory. Right. And so how did you come up with the name?
Jake is Neil's son, and Wyatt is my son. And we threw out a lot of different names out there. And when I took, the two names together, it just sounded really, really good. And the reason why I even chose, or Neil and I even chose to have Jake and Wyatt, our son's name, it just resonated with a lot of what we're about, being professionals, being gentlemen, having a clean name. It resonated very, very well, and it represented our boys. So, we kind of like shoved it under the rug for a little bit, and then we tried to come up with some other stuff that was trendy. It just wasn't really resonating with our personality. And then I just said, you know what, just Jake Wyatt. I'm sticking to it. I really like the name Jake Wyatt, and it means a whole lot to us. It means legacy. It's clean. It's pronounceable. It's very bold. It's masculine. Not to take away from a feminine side of the business, but it's just, this is who we are, and that's why we wanted to go with the Jake Wyatt Cigar Company.
Nice. No, I like that. And Garrett already brought it up, and I want Garrett to take the wheel on this kind of line of questioning, because I think it's a really cool part of your company when it comes to the design elements, because companies have been doing it for a while, but you guys really have made it part of your sort of signature. So Garrett, jump into where you kind of going before.
Yeah, and to kind of back up a little bit, I just wanted to mention something quick before I cut that beautiful tip off. And wow, that sounds awesome.
It sounds great. I love it.
But going back, so Gerard, as you guys are, as you're getting into blending and you are creating cigars, you obviously start with the cigar first, right? You get a blend that you like. When did you have the idea to throw that extra artist flair in there? And what did that process look like for you guys?
That wasn't something that I really had in mind at first, because I was so obsessed with creating the blend. But the design, one of our rollers, wanted to make a cigar for me and Neil, and he didn't speak. He doesn't speak any English, but he kept on saying that he has a gift for us. He has a gift for us, and to my friend that's the translator. And I said, okay. And then finally he came out with a cigar that had the JW logo on it. And then he came out with a cigar for Neil with the Major League Baseball logo on it, because Neil played baseball professionally for a while until his injury and he had to exit. And I was like, what is going on here? And then I was told that he loves to do a lot of art on cigars. That's his thing. He prides himself on being the best artist in the neighborhood, and he can make anything you want on a cigar. And I was like, huh. And at the time, I was very intrigued because, being an online retailer, because we're also retailers, right? It's all about Instagram. It's all about that hot new item. Whatever looks good on the picture is going to sell. So when it comes to the bands, it comes to the packaging, it's a huge leg up to other products when you're trying to make sales, right? So when I saw that, and I was like, well, what does he make? And he kind of started showing me pictures on his phone. And so I was like, wait a minute, man, can you do this all the time? He's like, this is all I want to do. That's all he likes to do, is just do the artisanal accents on cigars. And he just kept showing off, like, I can do this, and this, and this, and that. And he just going crazy with his X-Acto knife. It was like Edward Scissorhands, Yeah. And so that's how we came up with, I was like, well, if this is what he likes to do, then I want definitely to be able to put something together that is not too complex, but can be mimicked over and over and over without the high hand-eye coordination fatigue factor.
Yeah.
And that's how we came up with the design. He just kept introducing things, and then we had to definitely modify it because the designs that he was giving me was all open-ended. And what I mean by that, as you can see right here on the dot, like before the dot, it was just a line. It was a line and it just stopped.
Okay.
So I was like, well, we need to close. It was unfinished. So we did a dot. And then he was like, okay, well, how about if I put another dot within the dot?
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, and then at the bottom, the foot, it was same thing. So we had to really modify the designs and therefore make sure that it can be taught to others because he's the only one that knows how to do this. So we wanted to show others, hey, can you teach him how to do this so we can keep up production? And there was a lot of work behind it because so we have roller 1 makes these 3 lines at the foot one way, and roller 2 he does the lines thinner and closer.
Okay.
So when you open up a box, it doesn't look uniform from another box.
Oh yeah,
That's where we had to get, very precise and have to get the right instruments and the right to make sure everybody's doing the same exact thing when it comes to the accents. So Jake Wyatt Cigars take an extra 2 days to conclude or to finish to a traditional cigar. And the guys so when you roll the cigar, right, you have the binder, you bunch it, you put it in the mold, you press it, you come out. After the press, you finish it with a wrapper, you put it in a wheel, and you put it inside the storage where you have it age in the aging room, and then pretty much the cigar is done, right? You just package it. Well, for Jake Wyatt, you take up the whole wheel, and when you're in the artisanal department of Jake Wyatt factory, you take the wheel, and now that person's job, all it is to make these artisanal accents. So day 1 is just the stripes, cap, and foot. And then day 2, when it dries, then they come in, they put the dot within the dot, and then there's always another dot on the cap, which you don't took it off. So it always takes 2 extra days to finish a Jake Wyatt cigar. And why did we do this? Because again, it was just Instagram is very influential.
Yeah.
People want to see something new, want to be catchy, want to appeal to the eye. And our Figurados are even more beautiful, which you guys know, those are the limited edition of each and every SKU that we have.
Yeah. Well, and it's very cool that you brought up the alignment factor, because I didn't even think about that. And when you see them when you see a single cigar like this, with the lines, in the at the foot right there, that's one thing on its own, just to get those neats and looking clean like that. But then to have them all lined up in a box, not only does each individual cigar have to be clean with those lines have to align with each other with the cigar next to it. So that's actually more than just one element it adds like 10 different elements. So that's definitely a lot of added work that your people have to put in to make sure that not only the cigar looks good individually, but that the box looks good when it's opened up by the customer.
And
thank you
guys, these are cigars. Premium cigars are works of art.
Yeah.
Period. But what Jake Wyatt does is above and beyond work of art by putting this real special, amazing attention to detail and art on their cigars. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
They're beautiful.
I have a picture here of the limited editions. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll move the laptop a little bit. These are our Figurados right there. And those are the limited edition. And when it comes to the barber poles, we also have to make sure one box is all slanted to the right. And then you don't want to waste the tobacco, so you have barber poles going slanted to the left. So to not waste the tobacco, we totally made sure that one box is all to the right and one box is all to the left, because at first they're mixing them together, and we open up the box and we're like, what's going on here? Oh, you have to explain everything like as if it's like fundamentally walking into an elementary school and teaching kids how to write. You know what I mean? The alphabet. That's just how it is. It's just and so it's a lot of work.
Now, Gerard, on the barber poles, are they flavor functional, or is the barber pole aesthetic?
No. So we only have 2 barber poles. So I'll explain a little bit. Our gourmet collection has 2 Habanos, a Maduro that I'm smoking, Garrett's smoking the Connecticut, and then we also have a Candela. Each line has a Figurado, which is considered the limited edition of its line. The barber pole are of each Habano. The others are not barber poles. They just have a small little strip of ornate accent on it. It doesn't really do much for flavor. But the barber pole, they are true barber poles. We actually just made a video on explaining that it's not just some, cigar with another strip of tobacco on the outside. There are actual 2 wrapper leaves staggered on top of each other and then rolled by hand in one motion. So therefore you get an actual barber pole experience. So our first Habano is a Habano with the Candela, and that is because that's what that blend is specific to. And then our other Habano, which is called the USIR, is the San Andres Maduro with the Habano. Okay. And that is because of the blend. It asks for a Maduro rather than a Candela. So yes, it makes a huge difference in the flavor.
And you already mentioned the fact that you have your own factory in Dominican Republic. Now, was that always the case, or did you start with one factory and realized at a certain point that you, in order to do things the way you wanted, you needed to have your own operation?
No, from day one.
Okay.
We did this all ourselves. We started like a little tiny hut, like literally a hut in the Dominican Republic. So what happened was, as I mentioned, I went down there, and there's a bunch of factories that, have their doors open for business. And when I came back home, I made a lot of phone calls, and one of my reps that represents a very big company, he said, in order for us to make you a cigar, you need to start at least with 100,000 sticks. I said, that's nowhere near my budget. He said, I have a buddy of mine, yada, yada, give him a call. I was like, okay, a little hesitant, but I gave him a call. His name is Joel. Joel was making his own cigars in Costa Rica. He was a retailer at one point, sold off, and then he went to Costa Rica to learn about farming, tobacco, and he started making his own cigars. And when I called him, he lives stateside, Joel does, and he was living in Texas. And I said, hey, such and such, give me your phone number. My name is Gerard. I'm calling because I want to make cigars. So, we just hit it off. And he said, I'm actually transitioning to the Dominican Republic. I'm no longer going to be in Costa Rica. Do you go down to the DR? I said, yeah, I go down to the Dominican quite a bit now. He said, well, I can meet you down there. I said, okay, I'm not making any promises. Went over there. He showed me around. And when I walked into the hut, I was like, there is no way on earth I'm going to make a cigar in a fucking hut. And but the thing was that up to this point, I really liked what he was talking about. And he had already sent me some samples of what he does and what he works with, because I wanted to work with Olor tobacco. And the reason why I like Olor, because of the smoothness and the tastiness of it and the creaminess of it. It's really mild. So a lot of Dominicans don't really like to use it. And Joel was like, well, I love Olor. I was like, dude, this is my guy. So I walk into the hut, and he's already got like something made for me. I said, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll try it. And I was like, this is actually a very good cigar, Joel. I was like, I really like it. And he said, okay, this is what I used in there. I said, okay. And then from there, we just started blending more of what I definitely wanted to get a very creamy, elegant, super smooth Connecticut cigar. I'm tired and sick and tired of like Connecticut's with that herbal grassy hay flavor. I'm just so sick of it, you know? And I was like, anytime I try a good Connecticut, it's like $15, $20, $30. It's limited. You can't find it. And I'm a retailer and I can't even get it. And if I do get it, you know, I want to sell it because we want to make our money on it. We don't want to smoke it, you know? And so when it came to the Connecticut, I was just really excited to be able to finally bring a creamy, elegant, cool draw, not a char, not grassy herbal hay. I just want that toastiness, that elegant cigar that, like, you know, you find like in Dunhill or Davidoff White Label, Diamond Crown. You know, these brand names have it done right, but you got to pay for that. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to make, and that's why I wanted Olor so bad.
Yeah.
So once we did the Connecticut, we're like, well, we need a Maduro. You know?
Yeah.
And so it was always our little hut at first as a factory. Then we moved. Joel, you know, was like, okay, I got to expand. So he went to a different place. So we got a bigger spot. And right now, we're going to go down to the Dominican. We're just waiting because Joel is down there. And Joel became our master blender. So we became buddies. So we started making nothing but Jake Wyatt. And now we just signed a lease for a 16,000 square foot spot that's going to be, you know, home of Jake Wyatt Cigars. And we actually partnered with Joel, and it's going to be the name of the factory is going to be called Casa Morabo. That's the name of the factory, and that's all we make since day one is just Jake Wyatt Cigars. That's it.
Nice. Well, that's exciting to hear about the expansion. Definitely.
Thank
It's
you.
going to be a lot of work, but it's exciting news for you guys. Definitely.
So I'd like to ask Gerard, how has well, let's get to Raul's question so he doesn't have a tantrum. How hard has the shortages and the logistics hit Jake Wyatt Cigars over the last 18 months?
Yeah. Boxes and bands and shipping and that kind of stuff.
So we source our tobaccos from all local sources, and the tobaccos that we come across are the ones that the big guys don't really touch because it's not enough tobacco to yield for their production. So a lot of this tobacco that I come across is, you know, anywhere between 2 to 3.5 years old, you know, and it's really good stuff. And that's what I grab, and it's all local tobaccos. And there's a lot of tobacco that's grown in the Dominican Republic that people aren't aware of. And so when it comes to tobacco, we don't really come across a shortage because we truly are a boutique company. We don't yield a lot of cigars. As of right now, we have no problem getting tobacco. There's plenty for the amount that we need to yield. And when it comes to boxes, that is a pain. At first, we came out with the wooden boxes. And then from one factory, we went to another factory because, you know, just the production was always behind because there's somebody that comes in with a much bigger project, supersedes our project. So we get thrown in the back and we're like, okay, instead of a month, now we're looking at 3 months. And so within the meantime, we'll shift gears and go to a different factory. And this guy's probably expanding himself. So he needs business. So he'll take us on. And then same thing happens, you know, he gets bigger contracts, we get thrown in the back burner. And then also what happened recently was, yes, absolutely the shortage of wood, and then COVID having people running on, you know, 60% capacity. We didn't want to, you know, resort to bundles. So what we did is we went with the manufactured wood, and that's, you know, like MDF type of wood.
Yeah.
And that's what we went to because that stuff's more machine made and it's a lot faster, and you can just, you know, basically get stuff done for, you know, I mean, by the time you make one wood box, you can make like 5 the MDF stuff. So
Yeah.
we're just going to do that for now until we find a solution because we don't want to do bundles.
Yeah.
But other than that, when it comes to the bands and all that, we just have the right connections. And, you have to buy it in bulk. So therefore you don't run out. So whenever you do come into a bind, like during COVID, you have enough bands. But us being a smaller production company, it didn't really hit us as hard as some of the bigger guys. I mean, all in all, the industry is still flourishing. It really is. It's crazy how many wood box factories are opening up in the Dominican Republic. It's just they can't keep up.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back to an earlier comment that Jay Davis is watching right now, and Jay is a huge retailer from the Dallas area and also a member of the PCA board.
Yes, Jay carries our product. We talk. Yeah, absolutely.
And he mentioned earlier that he was just talking specifically about the blends, saying they're quite good, excellent balance and flavor, similar house style to Arturo Fuente. And I wanted to bring that up because I'm not super experienced with smoking Jake Wyatt cigars. This is maybe the second or third that I've smoked, but it's not. I want to get across to our viewers and our listeners that as beautiful as the cigars are, and they are beautiful, and they really do stand out on the shelf, when it comes down to what cigar smokers expect from a cigar, which is flavor, balance, good burn, this cigar delivers that in spades. This cigar, the flavor from this cigar is very, very good. The burn is exceptional. The Retrohale is blowing my mind. I love the Retrohale on this cigar. This Herbert Spencer Robusto I'm smoking right now.
Thank you.
So it's I just want to get across to our viewers and listeners. This is as beautiful as they are, but they deliver where cigar smokers expect them to deliver, and that is flavor and performance. So don't be shy thinking that it's just a pretty package. It's also a very good cigar.
And our viewers and listeners will know my history with retrohaling.
They know it well.
Yeah. Not a pretty story. But what I will tell you, the flavor and smoothness of this cigar, I've been able to retrohale it several times now, and I haven't vomited yet, have I? I haven't. No. So
there's
cigar,
still time, Garrett. There's still time.
There is still time. This Appendix 2 is stupid. I love when I am able to retro a cigar and get that experience. So for those of you who, like myself, have a difficult time with retrohaling and it destroying your sinuses, this is a cigar that will not do that. And I'm not giving a no vomit guarantee because that's a skill set that some may need to develop over time. I'm still working on it, but I will tell you, this is a cigar that you should try it. It is fantastic. Now, Gerard, I wanted to ask about your the sprawl and the sales strategy that you guys took when you decided to launch and go out. Where did you start, and what was really that initial strategy of getting your cigars out into the market?
Well, being in the industry for quite some time, I have a lot of friends that are shop owners. We have our own retail channel as well. So when we launched February 12th of 2020, which was the same day my second son was born, we were pretty excited. And then COVID hit, and pretty much everybody was shutting down. I don't know why that didn't even phase me, because I wasn't even thinking about hitting the road. I wasn't even thinking about any other cigar shops at the time. I was more concerned about how the cigars are performing, right? So my first year, it was just hyper focused, neurotic, kind of testing my product. And so what we did is I obviously approached a lot of my friends that have cigar shops, and kind of forced them to carry my product. I'm like, look, dude, you're a friend of mine. You're buying my product, and they all did. But you know how it is. They just put it on the shelf, and they're like, it's we did you a favor. I'm like, no, dude, you got to sell it. But anyway, COVID didn't allow me to strong arm them. But whatever. I don't know if that's even the right term right now. But what I did is I utilized our retail online channel to really put the brand out there and get the recognition it deserved. And then also we used, a couple of marketing companies that are familiar with the industry, that are part of the industry. When we started raising some of the funds, obviously the trade shows really, really helped. But more than anything, honestly, I think it's the confidence that I have behind our product. It's like I will not take a no for an answer, because I know how good this product is. And the thing is that also overcoming a lot of objections. A lot of people have objections. It's like, well, it's a mild cigar. I'm like, okay, what's a strong cigar that you smoke? And they tell me it's a strong cigar. I'm like, well, that's not even a strong cigar, dude. That's a medium cigar. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or they tell me a cigar that, is like, it's this or this or that. And I'm like, okay, try this. If you like this, try this. And they're like, well, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Try this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, that part of me comes out, and I start getting really forward, and they try it, and they look at me, and they're like, oh my God, like, dude, oh, I'm impressed. Like, whoa, you made this? I'm like, fuck off, dude, douchebag. Like, what the fuck you think I've been doing for the last 20-something years of my life? You know what I mean? It's like, I've been smoking cigars since I was 19, been a retailer, been going to, you name it. I eat, sleep, shit cigars. You know what I mean? It's just like, yes, I know what you like try this, and people were selling for like, dude, actually, this is really, really good. I'm like, I know, dude. It's like, and they're like, well, when are you going to come out with a strong cigar? Believe me, you will know when I come out with a strong cigar, because I will tell the whole world. And right now we don't have any strong cigars, because there's a lot of them, and a lot of them taste like crap. And I really want to make something really cool and original. But, so, I sound a little cocky sometimes when it comes to cigars, because, I'm very cocky when it comes to cigars, and I'm very, very blessed. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but, at one point in my life, my parents sent me to some of the best schools in the world, and there I learned about, table manners, and when it came to, developing a palate and eating caviar. And, I'm not into spirits. It's been a long time. I just don't drink anymore. But so when it came to tasting cigars, I was like, this tastes like dog shit. And people are like, what do you mean, dude? It's such and such brand. I'm like, I don't care who owns the brand. They're just slapping a brand on there, and they're selling it because they have the name, and you're a sucker for buying it, and you don't have a palate. And they're like, dude, you're a dick. I'm like, well, let me teach you something, And then we'd sit and we'd talk about cigars. And then they're like, dude, how do you know so much about palates? It's just, I was just raised with a lot of good food in my life, and I started learning, like, this weekend, we went to a restaurant, right? And we were in a beach town, and we went to this Mexican restaurant, and it was packed. I mean, packed, right? And it's expensive. And my wife and her sister wanted to eat there. I was like, whatever, I'll just, we'll go. And I just wanted to go to a hole-in-the-wall taco place, and I know it's good over there because I'm a local with this beach city area. And this restaurant, I never go there because, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. And I sat there, and then they gave my son a taco, and it's carne asada, and I got Abajian soup. And I gave my son the taco. He's eating it. And I looked at the meat, and I took a piece of the meat. I was kind of turned off. My wife was like, what's wrong? I go, the meat is old. She's like, how do you know? I go, because it's chalky, it's gamey, it's not juicy, and it's very, very dry. It's just, it's old meat, Erica. And then I ate my abondigas, and it's not even real abondigas. It's not like true abondigas. And they're like, they have a date next to the menu saying, "Oh, this is a recipe from 1922." I don't give a fuck where it's from. This is not true albondigas. You know what I mean? So these are the kind of things like, my wife's like, sometimes she just like is kind of surprised, like how could a guy like me that just wears a t-shirt around has this taste. I don't know if I was born with it, but I can tell. So when it came to making the cigars, I wanted that really beautiful, flavor forward, elegant, not offensive, and you're able to retrohale it. When you're done with the cigar, you don't have to spit. You savor. You're like, man, that was a yummy cigar, and I don't have to take a nap. I'm not all fucked up on all that nicotine. It's enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost a lot of money. That's elegance. You know what I mean? It's when you want to do something again, and that's what Jake Wyatt's all about, is us giving you that 5-star service with a 3-star price tag. I love this product. I really do.
Yeah, and I love the I love the attitude, honestly. I mean, I think there's something to be said for knowing that how your own product is supposed to taste and smell and look and feel because of experience that you have. There's no I don't understand why there are a lot of people in the world today, especially in the cigar community, who think that you shouldn't be outspoken about stuff like that. I see no reason why you shouldn't be outspoken about it. I mean, this is your blood, sweat, and tears, your money, your time. And not only did you put in the money and the time and the blood, sweat, and tears, but like you said, you have the experience. You know what these things are supposed to taste like and smell like. And
well, and let's look at the brands that where the ambassador, the owners aren't outspoken. What happens to those brands? It can be a great cigar, but that cigar's gone. So by, with your energy, with that confidence, with your knowledge of not only retail part, through years of relationships in the industry and understanding how that works, and you've brought an incredible product to the market, and you're doing it with flair, and you're gonna kill it.
Appreciate it. And there's also, not every single cigar is going to taste and burn the same. It is a natural product, what I mean? And the Herbert Spencer, truth be told, the 6x54 is my least favorite size. A Gordo, I don't even touch a Gordo in my own product. It's too mild for me. I like Robusto. The 6x52, but the belly that you're smoking here, actually, that's the biggest ring gauge I'll go. The 6x52 is a perfect balance. But when I want to go a little stronger, I go Robusto or Corona. And that taught me a big lesson when it comes to a cigar that I've never tried before, a brand. Before I say I don't like it, I got to try at least every single size within its portfolio, unless I hit the home run right off the bat, because, like the Guardian of the Farm, the Apollo is a Corona. People told me this is a great cigar, and I tried the Apollo. I was, oh my God, it's such a good cigar. I've never touched any other sizes. I got lucky. I was handed the best out of the portfolio, according to a lot of people. And to me, yes, it is. So before I knock down a cigar, I got to try every single size, because, the Toro may get, the biggest publicity, but you never know. Maybe the short Belicoso is like the best cigar in that portfolio. You know what I mean? And so when it came to our cigars, we had to adjust every single blend according to its size. And that's very, very hard to do, especially when you get in a bigger ring gauge. You're going to have more filler to the ratio of the wrapper. So therefore, you're going to get more air. You're going to have more Seco in there, because you got to have that balanced burn. And then Seco has a lot of flavor, but it's really mild. So it doesn't burn as hot. And I like my cigars a little hotter. I do. So that's why I'll go with like Robusto Corona. 6x52 is about it for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same place.
It depends on the cigar,
Yeah, and there are rare. Everybody knows this who watches our show. There are rare occasions where a blend works really well for me in a big ring gauge, but typically for me it's 46 to 52 ring gauge is where I feel comfortable and where I get where I feel like I get the most from what I think the blender was trying to make.
I don't know. Every blender is different, what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's
It is.
different.
And,
Absolutely.
another thing that our viewers, have heard not only us talk about, but other guests that we've had on the show is that Vitolas don't scale, appropriately with their ratios. You don't just scale it down and the cigar smokes the same. Like Jake or like Gerard, you were just saying that you got to play with the different tobaccos.
Ratios of filler and all that.
It's not just lessening it to make it smaller. To go from Lancero to Robusto, there is a lot of work that goes into making that blend.
Yeah. And then our second collection is called the Connoisseur Collection, which we have one cigar. It's the Lithium. And that cigar, we just came out with the Lancero. We're going to be shipping out those orders pretty soon here within the next 2 weeks as soon as they arrive. But when we made that Lancero, so the Lithium does not have any ornate accents to it. That cigar, I really, really focus on the Retrohale for that cigar. And so that has a Corojo binder, Habano wrapper. Anyway, so I was like, okay, we're going to do the Robusto, Corona, the Toro, and then the Bellicoso, which is a 109 cap, because they're all pigtailed. But the belly's a 109 cap. So we're like, okay, people keep saying Lancero. They're like, all right, let's make a fucking Lancero, make these people happy. And so when it came to the Lithium, I was really excited because I was like, dude, I wonder how powerful this Lancero is going to be because it's not going to have as much filler. And so we make it, we let it sit for a while, let it age so we can see what's going to happen when it marries. And dude, it was so mild. We're like, what? And it was like really took me back because I was like, how's this mild? It didn't make any sense. So we had to take out the Seco and bump up the Viso. Or you don't really call we just say Viso fundamentally, so people understand. But we had to get a little bit thicker leaves to get a little bit more of that oomph. So you never know what's going to happen with a cigar. Just because you go a smaller ring gauge doesn't mean it'll just go stronger. You have to test the product out. You really, really do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what, like we talked about, the brand launch was, during a time in the world that unfortunately there was a lot of weird shit going on. But, you guys have really, really made a splash. And now as you look forward, because we're barely into 2022. So as you look ahead to the rest of this year, what are your biggest goals as far as whether it's new accounts, whether it's more customer engagement, social media stuff? What are you hoping to really get across in the rest of this year?
Well, we definitely want to service our accounts like there's nobody's business. I think it comes down to relationships and taking care of our accounts really well. So in order to do that, what we've done is we've definitely taken a look at what our dealers are requesting. It's not always so much about the cigar, but it's always also about the relationship, the way we stand behind our product. And also we take a good hearing of what our accounts want. It could come from like the accounting side of it. It can come from the packaging side of it. We never thought about shelf talkers. We always thought shelf talkers were very, very annoying. It's really ugly. It's just a lot of loose paper everywhere. It just kind of makes your cheapens your humidor. You know what I mean? And so contrary, the majority of our retailers are like, we need shelf talkers. We need shelf talkers. We're like, really? You guys want shelf talkers? Like, I thought, me being a retailer, I always threw away shelf talkers. I hated stuff hanging all over my shelves. I just didn't like it. But in today's day and age, it's a lot different when it comes to shelf talkers, because for the longest, shelf talkers were always just a big logo. It was the name of the brand. You know what I mean? Now, shelf talkers that we use are actually, it talks about the wrapper, the filler, the binder, what kind of tasting notes you should be, noticing in our product. So we had to really design our shelf talkers. So therefore, it actually, offers something. It's actually a performing piece of literature. So therefore, it really helps push our product when it's new. So nobody even knows our product. You walk into a humidor, you see it, you're like, okay, I wonder do the accents give flavor? Do they not give flavor? What's it taste like? Where is it from? So these shelf talkers have been really, really monumental when it comes to pushing our product and helping our retailers too, because they don't get to always smoke every single thing that we make either. You know what I mean? They smoke some. They're like, I like your product. I trust the rest of it. So I'll carry the whole entire line. So when it comes to their clients, they need something. So therefore, the consumer like, oh, dude, that sounds good. I'll buy it. That is big. We're gearing up for PCA. Last year, PCA was huge for us. Huge. A lot of the PCA board members actually were very supportive of our product. They started carrying it in their stores, and then word of mouth went around. And, they also threw an article for us in their magazine, which was a 4-page article in the last quarter of 2021 that assisted us quite a bit of phone calls. So the factory is our main focus right now, to get that built out, to get back in there, make sure that our production is still quality. And that's really it, man. That's a lot of work in itself right there, building out the factory and making sure your quality is still on par. So that's what the focus is on 2022.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So Garrett, is it time?
Oh, I think it's time.
All right, everybody. It is time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke In. All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 147. Garrett, what do you have for us this week?
This week, I've got, it's a 10-year average, which excludes 2020, but 20 people, on average, 21 people a year die here.
In a place. So we're not looking for a cause this time. We're looking for a place. Or are we looking for both?
Nope. A place.
A place. All right. So as always, viewers, you guys join us with 20 questions. Gerard and I are going to try to narrow this down and figure out a place where on average, is it average you said?
Average.
On average, 20 people a year die in this place. In a coffin. That's hilarious, Skip. In a coffin. That's
great.
Very good guess.
But no.
Grand Canyon. That's a good guess. In a coffin. Jay's also got jokes.
Is it
usually they're dead before they get in the coffin.
Is it a confined space, or is it like it could be anything?
It's not a confined space.
So it's like a city.
Are you looking for a geographical area?
Yeah.
Yes, and more.
Okay. Is it in North America?
Yes.
Can I guess or no?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. That's what this is all about.
Disneyland?
No.
Uh,
That'd be a good one to look up.
could it be where you're at? Could I say where you're at?
You can.
New Orleans?
It is.
Okay. All right. So he's topical.
I know. I think I know the answer, but I don't know if I'm
Do
supposed
it.
to say it. Mardi
Do
Gras?
it. Yes.
Okay.
Mardi Gras. So, holy shit. Great guess. Wait a minute. 20 people a year die at Mardi Gras?
Every year.
Alcohol poisoning, rape, murder, who knows?
Oh, man.
Have you been in New Orleans during Mardi Gras?
Not during Mardi Gras. I was there for
Oh
New
my
Year's.
God. You should see the day afterwards, bro. It is puke piss central. It is disgusting.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I will say that, and I don't know when the last time you were here, Gerard, the cleanup that they do. So the first night we were here, we came down, not quite to the French Quarter, but pretty close. And we took a rickshaw back, and the street sweepers and the cleaning crews, it was fantastic. Going down there the next day, it was like a totally new street. So they do.
But it probably still smelled like piss.
Depends on where you were. we did like sit on this little building ledge where there was a grate behind us, to just kind of sit for a second and get our things together. And I was like,
and you realize that grate is where everybody goes to take a dump.
Yeah, last time I was there, I think it was like 2011. How long ago was that? 10 years ago? 10 years ago. So 10.
Did you
11 years.
Did you go to Pat O'Brien's?
No.
No, okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it to Pat O'Brien's.
There's so many places we didn't get to go.
Yeah.
And do,
Well, you'll just have to go back again.
Absolutely. We will definitely be back again.
Yeah, I want to go back again and drink less so that I actually remember more of the trip.
Yeah, and just like all the people here have been fantastic, but it depends on who you talk to. So John Strange, who's with me, and he had talked to people who were like, "Careful, you will get murdered, death."
Oh, please.
And then we'll talk to an Uber driver who was like, "This is the best city in the world," and we just love everybody. And but like right now we're at this cigar bar called Cuban Creations.
Nice.
And this place, so the owner Joe is fantastic. When I called him and asked if I could do the podcast from here, he was awesome. The guy Chris, who's working the humidor, the dude is fantastic. So the hospitality, not only in this place but also in the city, has just been top notch.
Nice.
But 20 people ish a year die at Mardi Gras. Just
don't go to Mardi Gras. Go to New Orleans
the whole event.
some other time of the year. Don't go during Mardi Gras. I don't know.
But Mardi Gras was fun.
My brother lived in New Orleans for about 8 years, and that's when I went to go visit him, and it was over New Year's. And it happened to also be that there was a bowl game or something going on. I mean, this was 30 years ago. And we're very young and stupid at the time, so we're just getting absolutely slaughtered, blackout drunk every night, and getting back home at 6 a.m. and waking up at 7 p.m. to go out and do the same thing all over. It was just a ridiculous, stupid time.
Well, and speaking of hurricanes, those who know, I've been sober for several years, though my wife does enjoy the leaded variety. We've had, she's had hurricanes at, a few of the places because that's the drink you get here in New Orleans.
Well, I was curious if any place offered non-alcoholic hurricanes.
What's the point?
Well, I'm with you. What's the point? But I was just curious if any place offered a because basically it would just be the pretty hurricane shaped glass with Kool-Aid and pineapple juice in it.
I'd rather just have a Perrier.
So,
there you go. Is that a hurricane?
but not a one of them has looked like the other.
Yeah,
they all look vastly different.
Yeah, and everybody claims that they're the original maker of the hurricane. Even most people say it's Pat O'Brien's, but all the bars who make and serve hurricanes say we're the ones who originated the hurricane. It's like, who do you believe?
So, Garrett, are you a friend of Bill Wilson?
Oh yes, nearly 27 years.
Wow, good for you, buddy. I'm a friend of Bill's too.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful club to be a part of.
Yeah, it'll be 21 Saturday.
Dope.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a much easier way.
Yeah, and so I do partake in the unleaded varieties.
Yeah, there's a lot of good NA beers.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily one of them, but
yeah, Heineken NA is not very good, but there are a lot of good ones.
There are.
My life used to be a hurricane. or should I say I was the hurricane?
Right. Yeah.
Well, that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so let's jump into the lightning round. And the lightning round is brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. They are America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or their visitor experience, visit jcnewman.com. And don't forget, guys, go to howaboutthatcigar.com and you will see a graphic just like this on the right side of your screen. And click right there where it says enter to win, and it'll take you to a page where you can enter to win that beautiful Diamond Crown whiskey set with the glasses and the whiskey stones. So be sure to go to howaboutthatcigar.com to enter to win that fabulous prize. So, lightning round time. Gerard,
Yeah.
if you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Well, living person.
But hey,
Man, there's a dichotomy there. I'm identifying with that. But let's go with somebody who's still wearing a suit of skin.
A lightning round. Okay, what's it going through their head right now? Okay, who would I want to talk? Elon Musk.
Oh yeah,
Go.
very, very good answer. I would love to hear what's going on in his head. I don't think I'd be able to keep up with it, but I'd love to hear it.
And why?
Yeah, why?
I would be very intrigued, intellectual, probably thinking outside of the box, out of this world, fourth dimension type of stuff, just blow my mind, so I would definitely
I'm pretty sure a mind like that would make mine explode.
Yeah. Same here. All right. Gerard, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Probably Thunderstruck from AC/DC.
Excellent answer. It's a classic that will never
become a
be
popular
wrong.
answer as of late.
That's right. All right. So choose one of the following. You could hit a home run as a starting pitcher. You could score a touchdown as a defensive lineman. You could score a goal in a hockey game as the goalie, or you could score a goal in a soccer game as the goalie.
Oh, football, defensive lineman, definitely.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Great choice. I love watching the defensive
big
linemen
boys
score
run.
touchdowns.
Oh.
Yeah, watch the big boys run. I love it.
Love it.
All right. So now let's move into this week's Notable Smokable. And as always, Notable Smokables brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So, Gerard, each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was interesting to us. It could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we just smoked for the first time in a long time, or it could be a cigar that we tried for the first time ever. So obviously you're mostly smoking Jake Wyatt cigars, but is there anything outside of your own wheelhouse, outside of your brand, that you smoked recently that really caught your interest?
Yeah, this is going to be unfair to a lot of people because a lot of people can't get their hands on them, but the Liga Privada Year the Tiger was actually pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Very nice. Yeah, jealous. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the year that, I mean, the Chinese Zodiac has been big with certain brands for many years, but it seems like Year of the Tiger, every brand is coming out with a Year of the Tiger cigar. Not every brand, but many more brands than used to participate in that. And it's kind of cool to see everybody's different version of a Year of the Tiger cigar. So, oh my goodness.
Hey,
John Strange, the Sober Cigar. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How's it going? Good to see you again.
Life is beautiful. How's New Orleans treating you?
It's been good, actually. It's been crazy. It's been really, really busy. But as Gerard said, the people have been fantastic. I've managed not to be one of those people murdered, so it's been good. but the night is still young, and I've still got more people to piss off. So
yeah, yeah, you've still got plenty of time.
I've got loads.
I brought John on to talk about my cigar of my notable smokable, which was a Padron 40th that I smoked with John on the rooftop of our hotel the other night to just celebrate his birthday. He had his 26th birthday. So,
a long time ago.
And John had his first real opus.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well, cheers on your birthday, brother.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Another sober guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
A sober guy from Belfast, you wouldn't have thought it.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
So my notable this week was the Christoph Sumatra. It's one of the Christoph cigars that I sort of enjoyed from the very beginning of learning about the Christoph brand years ago, and still a Christoph that I reach for regularly. So
what size?
It was the Toro size. Just a few days ago, smoked that. So yeah, that was this week's notable smokable, brought to us by Ace Prime, improving lives through fine cigars. Visit aceprime.com to learn more. So to give our viewers and listeners an idea of some very cool stuff we have coming up in the next few weeks. Next, I almost said Sunday, not Sunday. Next Monday night on the 28th. We have Sin Coburn from Dissident Cigars. And then on the first Monday in March, if you can believe it, we're already going to be in March very soon. And we're going to talk to Brian and Angelo from Founders Cigar Company. We got to know them briefly at the Cigars and Baseball event last year in St. Paul. And very exciting new company, veteran owned, and we had a short conversation with Angelo at the trade show, but excited to talk to Brian and Angelo this time and get the full story on their brand and their blends. So that is coming up on the 7th. So Gerard, give our viewers and listeners the final plug. Where is the best place for them to keep up with all the latest and greatest info from Jake Wyatt Cigars?
Instagram, big time. Jake Wyatt Cigars on Instagram. We have our website, of course, jakewyattcigars.com. But Instagram is it, man. That's where you want to be. Also, get with your retailers, ask them what's coming out new, and that's basically it. Instagram.
Excellent.
Well, you've got a great website. I just want to
the website is very well done.
The retail locator is fantastic. So also check out the website. If let's say, Gerard, they don't have a retailer close to them, where may they find your cigars?
Well, I mean, Jay Davis is very, very involved in social media. So if you guys know Jay Davis,
nobody knows Jay.
I mean, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Everybody knows.
Also, there are some online retailers, so you can use Google and just type in Jake Wyatt Cigars. You'll see some online retailers that do ship out. Definitely. There's some cigarsdirect.com. Sir Louis Cigars. He's on Instagram quite a bit. There's so many online. There's like a lot of the guys from Smokers Abbey. They have websites. A lot of people are having websites now, so you'll find it. Google it, and you'll definitely find an online retail that has it.
Excellent. All right. Well, Gerard, we cannot thank you enough for being on episode 147 of How About That Cigar Live. And as Raul says, in the Twin Cities area here in Minnesota, you can find them at very soon. They will be on the shelf, available next week at Sodi's.
I think we already shipped it to them.
Yeah, they are shipped. They're not priced out and on the shelf yet, but they will be very soon. So, yeah. So thank you so much, Gerard, for being on the show. We really appreciate getting to know you and getting to know your story, and look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Viewers and listeners, guys, we appreciate you so much. You are the best part of How About That Cigar. Thank you so much for watching us on Facebook and YouTube, and especially for listening on the audio podcast. As always, if you guys have questions for Gerard or myself, please email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you next time, burn cigars,
Not bridges.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.